Oh, the bird's going to sing just a minute.
I think the bird singing is beautiful. It might actually help with the interview. June Neufeld. You tell me your full name?
June Shirley Neufled. Used to be June Shirley Allen. And yes, it's my full name.
Where were you born?
In Lloydminster, on the Saskatchewan side, and just right on the border. And I wanted to be an Albertan. And when I found out that actually I was born in Saskatchewan, I thought all the time I was an Albertan, but I'm a Saskatchewan.
And were you disappointed or?
Disappointed, yeah. I wanted to be an Albertan. Yep,
Wow.
but I am.
Okay. No, of course. Because you grew up here, right? Large in part.
No, I
Or you
grew up in Edmonton.
In Alberta, though.
Oh, yes, totally.
Okay. What year were you born?
1935.
That would make you about how old?
You have to figure that out. I don't do numbers.
I'm trying to think. That would be 87? No. Ish?
80,
87 or 88?
87. Let's just say 87.
Okay, that works.
Good. I think. Yep.
What was your childhood like?
Oh, good. A very good childhood. Grew up in Edmonton, South Edmonton, by Mill Creek, and so that was my playground. It was safe then, and yeah, it was winter was wonderful. Lovely, lovely hills.
Okay.
Just coming off the bridge that goes over Mill Creek, and there was a really nice hill there for cardboard. We used to use cardboard.
Oh, for like tobogganing.
But it
That's
was
what you played, yeah.
we used cardboard to toboggan.
Nice. The good old days.
Good old days. Good old days.
Did you have any brothers and sisters?
I had one brother, 5 years younger than me, and a sister then 10 years younger than me.
Okay.
So I was an only child for 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were your mother and father like?
Oh, wonderful. Dad he collected Indian relics and was very, Mom raised us, and Dad was the constant in our life. He was a teacher,
Okay.
and he taught us everything remember driving down the road and he was expounding on the mountains and Anthony Hendy coming to this place, just this place, and looking and seeing all of a sudden there's the mountains, and he said, "Behold, the shining mountains." And my sister, my 10 years younger sister, says, "Who cares?"
But it was important to him and to you?
It was important to him to convey that moment in history.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You said that he collected Indian relics?
Yes, oh yes.
Yeah.
I've got a beautiful, beautiful collection of Indian relics.
You still have them, right? Mm-hmm. Wow, that's awesome. Anything specific? Like what kind of things would he collect?
Oh, arrowheads, scrapers, chips. Interestingly enough, some of them were of flint, and we don't have flint in this area, so we knew that it was traded up from the States.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's far more interesting you'd ever think.
Okay. When did you become a Christian?
I was about 21. I'd come up to Grand Prairie to teach. Met Bob, of course, and Bob was a beautiful Christian and spoke his faith, and coming home from a date. Mm-hmm. And he said, I was listening to the radio, and it was Billy Graham, clearly, and I said, is that what it's all about? And he said, yeah, it's what it's all about. And I said, well, I'd like to do that then. And so I bowed my head and prayed then, accepted the Lord as my Savior.
Yeah.
And he raced home to tell his mom, and and I was thinking, well, what's going on here? What's happened? I had no idea what a life-changing thing that had happened.
Wow.
And it wasn't until later when we were cooking at camp for the kids, and the tent was next door, and my hands were covered with boiled potatoes that I was paring for potato salad. And I heard over there in the tent, would somebody like to say anything about their Jesus? And I was compelled, with my hands all covered with boiled potatoes, I was compelled to go into that tent and say, I love Jesus.
Wow.
And I knew then that at the time when I had accepted the Lord, before I had said, I, June, do take you, Jesus. And then when I actually felt that push to say I love Jesus, it was like he was saying, you're mine, June.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very, very clear to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long after that did you get married? Like, because you married Bob, right? And,
Yes. Oh, I don't know.
Okay, but it was maybe around that time that you...
Oh, yes, this
okay.
was all courting time and yeah, early marriage.
Tell me about your life with Bob.
Oh, well, Bob is a doer and if anybody knows him, he ski club, he's set up the carving club. I mean, he's set up a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Our camp, he started the Camp Wapiti.
Yeah.
And really, I was just a support.
Okay.
I was with him in everything.
Did you like that life, the doing life? Like, was it always an adventure?
Oh, yeah.
Some cherished memories there?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And then when he retired, actually, it was because he was feeling like he was owning camp, starting to take control and own it.
The camp that he started?
Camp Wapiti.
Yeah.
In the Wapiti Valley.
Yeah.
And so he thought he just had to step aside and let the church take over, and then,
Yeah.
the other people. And so he got a job being a worker at Two Lakes.
Okay.
And so we moved out to Two Lakes every summer, and he took care of the forest, the people who use the forest for recreation.
Now, I know, just so people watching this interview understand, like Two Lakes it's a cherished little place around here, right? You have the Two Lakes, and then you've got the Kakwa Falls out there. And
that's it. On the way to Kakwa Falls, you pass Two Lakes. Mm-hmm. And we lived on the first lake with our fifth wheel or whatever trailer we had, and right by the lake. And I lived outside. We had a tarp up, and I'd cooked on the open fire, and
wow.
And I gathered nettle to eat, and found out all the edible things that I could cook, and it was a good life.
Wow.
It was a very good life.
Do you know how long did you do that for? Like how many
12
summers?
years.
12 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's not I don't know many people that would live by the lake and just kind of, he worked at Ernie's in the wintertime, selling skis.
Okay.
And he was a ski instructor, so he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, absolutely. How many children do you guys have?
3. 2 that were born to us, and 1 that we adopted.
Okay. Why did you choose to adopt?
Oh, after Jody was born, we were so so amazed and excited and felt that there's others that didn't have this chance to have this life. And so we adopted this little boy. His name was Bobby.
Yeah.
And so we thought, okay, he must belong to us. Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
It was a hard life, though. He had been in 5 homes and had been quite damaged.
Okay.
5 homes before he was 2. I mean, 5 foster homes. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
One of them was a place where there was 2 Bobbies there, and so there was a good Bobby and a bad Bobby, and he was the bad Bobby. And they called him Bad Bobby.
Oh, really?
I mean, what's that going to do to a kid?
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have any reflective thoughts on motherhood? Something like, what were your highlights, or what would you do anything different that you do?
I would stop reading. I was hooked on reading, and I could get hooked on a book and just not be able to put it down.
Wow.
And yeah, I would have definitely not done that.
I think, like most parents would encourage reading, but maybe you're saying that your reading was a little bit excessive.
Oh,
and it took you away from the situation.
No, it was. What's the word I want? It's like a drug.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. What are your thoughts on just being a wife? Would you do anything different with regards to your relationship with Bob?
Well, now that he's gone, he died on December 2nd.
Yeah.
So it's not really that long ago. And I would, like, now that I'm hearing all the accolades, I didn't know how wonderful he was.
Wow.
He was just my husband and the father of my kids, and we had a life, and it was just ordinary. But he wasn't an ordinary man. I think I could have been a better wife.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to press you on that one.
No, don't.
No, don't. Okay.
Because I haven't really explored it enough to know what was going on and what is going on.
Okay.
It's too early.
Okay. You're still sad? You're still processing?
Oh, I'm still totally.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you do have the assurance of God, that He's he's in
no, he's in heaven. Oh, when it was a real hard death, and I was, when he finally just let go and went, I just could, it was almost a relief that I could almost see the angels coming for him.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, pretty awesome.
You're not afraid? Are you afraid of death at all?
Oh, not at all.
No.
No, I know. I'm afraid of what the precursor to death is pain.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Right. Well, I before I wrote down these questions, I was praying to God, and I felt like God was telling me to tell you something. He said, "Tell June that she's blessed and that she's going to walk into some of the greatest glory that she could ever imagine."
Well, I know. Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you for that assurance.
Absolutely. Yeah. What are your thoughts on young people these days, or what message would you give them? Maybe from your life experience and your life advice, what would you say?
Oh, it's hard to say now. It's really hard to say because life is so different from when I was growing up.
Okay.
And I think it is just find out what your purpose is. What your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And then just go with that.
Yeah.
And know that if that's your purpose, well, then it's it's going to work better than if you're working without it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. What do you think about Canada? The direction of the country?
I love Canada. I love Canada. It's a great country. I'd like for it to be run better morally. And I know that politics is politics, so I can't say too much
Okay.
about Canada except, I'd love to see it. It used to be moral, but it isn't anymore.
No.
And so I think that we've lost something there.
In terms of, what do you think, like what led down that path when you look at our country? Like what decisions have been made, or what maybe values did people have then that they don't have now?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I couldn't say.
Okay, that's okay.
Too deep.
Sure. Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. June Neufeld, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you'd like to say?
Just, this is a real interesting experience for me,
Being interviewed.
being interviewed.
Okay, that's great. I hope it's good, a good, interesting experience.
Yes, very
Okay.
interesting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, June.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, we'll see how that turns out.
That's about 16 minutes there, and I don't think I'll have to cut just about anything. That was a perfect interview, really. Do you feel like you overshared it all, or anything that you, like, is there anything that you said that you're like, oh, maybe that was too much?